I
Yeah.
mean, and I guess that's as good a segue as any into getting into what we want to talk about first here on um, the new episode, and that is a a group of three films from a brand new label, Stephen. Well,
Yes.
new in the sense that their stuff has just come out, but they've been kind of brewing about for the last
Well, I mean,
little
this is their
while.
first slate. This is their
Yes,
first. You know,
first
it's been
first group.
they've been trying to get you know, as a lot of even established labels have had. There's been some production issues, I think, maybe getting some things together, but things finally fell in line, and the first slate from Australian label Chameleon Films
Yes,
has
Chameleon
been
Films.
released, and
And
so
we've been fortunate as well as many other people to get our hands on these first three releases. Two of them directed by the same director, which is kind of nice. And it's a director I think both of Steve and I have become great fans of, in Johnny Toe. And also we have another film in there as well, which I liked. And these films are Breaking News, Summertime Machine Blues, and Exiled. And the first film, Breaking News, is Johnny Toe. The second film, which is Summertime Machine Blues, is a lighter, more comedy. And then the third film, Exiled, is a Johnny Toe film, and this is a neo noir western gangster film. It's kind of amazing. We're gonna kind of give these a review now. We'll kind of clip this out and put this on our YouTube channel as well, just so all of you can get a good look at what these releases look like, because it's a brand new company and they're trying out new packaging and all this kind of stuff. So what you see here are clear clear plastic Blu-ray cases for each film. They are all numbered too. So
yes,
you want to jump on this and get your number one. Number one would be Breaking News. Number two is Summertime Machine Blues, and number three is Exiled. And what's really cool is that they all come with booklets, which is kind of nice. Not really something you see too much these days, but that's really unique. And they do have reversible covers as well. I don't
yeah,
know if you noticed that, Steven. I think the
yes,
reversible covers are just mostly the same covers, but without the ratings.
yes, yeah,
Um, because I think Australia, this is an Australian company in Chameleon Films. They usually have the ratings kind of similar to what the UK has, where this says for moderate for mature violence.
yes.
The other one's like PG for mild coarse language.
Oh,
Oh,
oh man, that's
mild,
crazy.
mild coarse language. And then the last one is also, I think, moderate action violence, which
Moderate.
I know.
That's a little more than moderate, but okay.
Yeah, it's a little, yeah, well, yeah, but let's concentrate on the first film here for a
Yes,
second in Breaking News, because we like to
breaking
do things
news.
in order here. Steve and I both got our copies in the mail. Came really quickly,
Yes.
considering it's coming from the other side of the world to us. Um, what I also found unique about these releases is when you go to the back, um, there's usually for releases there's a description of the film on the back, like a little blurb and whatnot. But here, Steve, did you notice it's just only a list of the special features and like the tech specs and then like the specs of the movie, and not really a description of the movie itself? I just found that unique.
Yeah, that is
Because
something that I didn't think about. I mean, it really depends. I mean, I think as having the internet at our fingertips all the time, if
yeah,
you really want to know about a movie and know its description, and you can look it up.
but it also makes it kind of like you're almost going in blind
Yeah,
to
yeah,
plot and
sure.
all that kind of stuff. But Breaking News is a unique movie. It came out in 2004. It runs about 90 minutes, which is a quick 90 minutes. Um, and Steven, it's an interesting movie. Plot wise, how would you describe it?
Yeah, kind of a little bit of
Essentially,
heist, a little bit of you
it's
know,
like a social commentary movie like about police, and not
yeah,
only police, but kind of just the way in which information is portrayed to us through media. So the synopsis is like there are a group of police that are trying to bust up some type of robbery that's going on, and they end up bungling it like tremendously bad.
yeah,
And and some people end up like catching it, I think, on camera. I think a news crew or something like that catches it on camera, and then it's blasted all over the news that the police are inept. They can't really, they can't really figure things out. I think what happened is one of the police officers um like screwed up in some way, like he cowered before like the the robbers or something, and he just looked bad, like PR wise. So then people have lost all faith in the police and their ability to protect the people. So then the police are like, we got to do something to fix our reputation.
Yeah.
And they decide that, okay, so the next is like, we're gonna like find these robbers and kind of, chase them, capture them, arrest them, or whatever. But we're going to record it ourselves and kind of sell it as a propaganda to like rehabilitate our image. So what they do is they're kind of shooting it like a faux documentary, if you will, or a documentary, kind of like Cops, like that show Cops that's been on for like 20 something years or whatever. Um, they decide that they're going to edit it in such a way where it's going to make them look good. But
Yeah.
what happens as they pursue these criminals into this apartment complex is things don't go exactly the way they planned or go as smoothly, but the way they're representing it to the people is in a positive way. And so it goes to show you that maybe everything you see on TV, in the news, and expand our world into like social media and online and all this stuff may not be exactly 100% the truth. It reminded me a lot of the movie Nightcrawler,
Mm.
the where in that movie they portray like how the news is sold to us in a propagandish type way to kind of get ratings and edit things in a certain way and all this kind of stuff. I really liked the movie. I thought it was a great social commentary.
Yeah.
Um, what did you think,
It,
Steven? I like the way it
yeah,
was
yeah.
shot too. There's a 7 minute, I
Dude,
think.
the opening is amazing.
Is it 7 or 11 minute opening shot sequence of the movie? I can't remember the runtime, but it's significant and it's all one shot. It's
Yeah.
incredibly
It's a
well
I can tell
opened.
you, Johnny, the limited amount of Johnny 2 that I've seen, his his ability to structure gun shootouts is like probably the best I've seen. His gun shootout scenes are just
Very good. They're
edited so
very good.
well, staged so well.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit about it before the show, in that I think they bring up in one of the video essays here that um he came from the same type of place and same type of schooling, if you will, of a John Woo, but his stylization is a little, how would you say, Stephen?
I'd say a
Uh,
little more controlled. It's
controlled, smooth, um, uh, you know, kind of a little slower paced, where John Woo is very fast paced, very quick cutting. His is more methodically, like paced, but very, very good. So I really like this movie a lot. And also there's a lot of special features that I think we want to get into as well.
and
Um,
when you talk about the themes of
mm,
how the media is used as a weapon in a way is also like what is interesting about that too is also the cultural significance too, because we know that with China, there is like a government does have a lot of control over things. So it's kind
mm,
of, in a sense, it's a movie kind of. It feels like it's a movie kind of fighting back against the government in a
yeah,
way about how it
and
controls what's in the news.
not to get too political, but Hong Kong and China have a bit of a contentious relationship, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole political story and a whole political historical background that I don't really want to go into because that's a whole other podcast.
Uh-oh.
It just
Well, you did go to school
I did.
with
I think I told the story before. One of the last courses I ever took in college was history of China,
yeah.
and it is a deeply interesting history, especially the closer you get to the 20th and 21st century. But that's neither here nor there uh, because we're talking about this release from
Yeah,
Johnny
yeah.
Toe. But there is a new audio commentary by Hong Kong expert Frank Zhang, a propaganda duel, a newly extended video essay on breaking news, which is really really good. Newly translated and improved English subtitles. The Melbourne International Film Festival 2004 Q&A with Johnny Toe. Newly unearthed interviews from Cannes with Johnny Toe from 2004. Kelly Chan and Nick Chung as well, the two actors in the film. There's a deleted scene, photo gallery, theatrical trailer. So that's breaking news. And just to pop it open real quick so we can move on, is you get, traditional disc and booklet here. Booklet is rather thin, but that doesn't, it doesn't mean that it's not good. But you do
Can't
get art here.
make sure you're close to the mic, Andrew. I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Yeah, well,
Uh,
yeah, you're fading out.
I'm fading out. Okay, so there's the booklet.
Yeah,
There's the artwork
it's
here,
great, great art.
and then back as well. And as you can see, a little thin, but that's perfectly fine because, like I said, any booklet is better than no booklet at this point when it comes to anything like that. Um, so cool. So moving on to something different, way different in tone,
Yeah, way
way
different.
different in presentation. Um, there's the cover art. There's the reversible cover art as well. But we have Summertime Machine Blues, and this is like a adolescent comedy, I would
Yeah,
say.
yeah,
It's about these group of kids who I think are kind of like hanging out in like this sci-fi club place that they hang out during the summer, I
yeah.
assume. And what ends up happening is a time machine shows up, and it's from the future, and they start kind of using it, kind of messing with stuff, kind of going into the future, coming back to the past, and going into the past, discovering things that they didn't really know about. And then they realize that they've gotta like fix things. They gotta go back and kind of like fix things so that the timeline gets corrected, or else they could create a paradox and the world could kind of like collapse into itself. The space time continuum can kind of fall apart. Um, uh, you've heard that story before, but it's a lighter, funner film. It does get a little confusing because they keep bouncing around in time, and you're trying to figure out who's where, when, and what. But I rather enjoyed it. This is a Japanese film as opposed to the other two films, which are Chinese. I think that's a distinction to make. I love the cover art
Oh yeah, the
with
art
these
is great.
bright
Yeah,
orange colors and the rainbow and all this kind of stuff. You can see all the characters and the caricatures. The little drawings and whatnot. Um, I dug it. Unfortunately, when it comes to this release, this has probably the smallest special features package of the three. I know, Steven, you didn't find this film to be as entertaining as the other two.
and it's not, yeah, you gotta remember, reviewing something when you're first watching it for the first time. Sometimes things don't hit great the first time, and I'm not
Mm,
saying I hated this movie or anything, but I just didn't find it as entertaining as and I think part of that is maybe just a little bit of a cultural barrier where maybe the humor didn't hit with me as well. I found some of it maybe a little bit too goofy, like
but
like
yeah, there was some
like at the beginning when they're playing baseball and they're all acting like a little bit too like
childish, immature. I mean, they're
immature.
all
It's a little
teenagers. I
bit
kind
too
of get
like
it.
it's like are they like 8 years old, or are they supposed to be like teenagers? Because they're all acting like they don't know how to physically move their bodies around.
I don't know.
And
Have you been around teenagers lately? They're kind of
are they getting stupider?
I guess maybe we just thought we were smart at the time, but we
I
really
don't
were
know.
just as immature and
Maybe,
naive
maybe
as they are. Uh, yeah, but it is that, and the way some of them act is very over the top
it's a little, yeah.
animated in terms of the comedy. But it goes for like a lot of their characters. Like at least a lot of their characters are distinct. Like okay, you can tell this one's the goofball, or this one's the leader, or and all that kind of stuff. There's of course like a teenage romance angle in there as well, and all that kind of stuff. Um,
But
but
like I said, I think it's one of the movies where I think maybe another watch or two would benefit me. But I don't want
mhm.
to. I mean, we're all about honesty here. But on my first watch, it didn't land with me. I I didn't love it, but Andrew gives it a recommendation. He enjoyed
I
it,
do.
and of course, but the release, the presentation, the package. You did say it was low in features, but sometimes you just don't have
Yeah, you don't have
the
access
ability to
to
get really
features
good
or
features,
whatnot.
maybe because the people involved are not able to help. So like, you know, yeah, I mean it's okay. Sometimes there's going to be limited features on a release. It
Yeah,
happens
I
sometimes,
was
but
trying to look to see who the director is. Yeah, produced and directed by Katsuyuki Motohiro. That's who directed the movie. But as you can see, there's the front, there's the back with the list of special features up top here, and then of course the the tech specs and then the movie credits here. But for special features, it's got limited edition booklet with a new essay by film writer Haley Scanlon, original commentary by director Katsuyuki Motohiro and writer Makoto Ueda, with newly translated English subtitles, a new interview with writer Makoto Ueda, trailer and theatrical trailer, and that's it.
Yeah.
So opening it up here is, I think, usual what you saw in the first film. There's the disc, there's this booklet here. Once again, a nice, I'll say this: the booklets may be thin, but the paper quality feels a little nice.
Yeah.
It's kind of a thicker, I would say. Could you call that glossy paper, Steven?
Yeah, it's a glossy.
I don't know the difference between glossy and matte.
Wait, I don't know paper.
I don't know paper quality too well. I just know I can tell when one is thin and one is thick. But as you can see here, there's reading material inside.
And I think sometimes it gets lost as being part of the special features. When you get a booklet, you're getting extra material. You're getting what could be a visual essay, but in just book form. You're getting
right.
So that in itself, having a booklet is its own special feature.
And then you got the reversible cover art as well, which is just the same thing without the label, without the rating label. I don't really mind the rating.
It doesn't necessarily bother me, but I can see why. I mean, they do look kind of ugly sometimes, depending on the release, and I think that it's something that a lot of newer labels, we talked about with Fran, for Radiance, they're thinking about this when it comes to packages for American, especially American audiences, where they are giving you an opportunity to hide that rating logo with an alternative cover in this case, but with Fran's, having the removable card. I mean, I think that's cool. It's a cool collector's thing that they're thinking about you. So kudos to Chameleon for doing that. So.
And I did want to say one thing also, Steven. I don't know if you noticed this, but on the back at the very bottom where you get they usually have the region encoding. It says region B, but it plays in region A players.
It
no
does.
problem. Yeah. I had no issue whatsoever playing it in my region A Sony player. So don't be kind of turned off.
I played it on my Xbox 4K player, and it works good.
So now, lastly, we get to a film that I think Steven and I both loved very much so.
Yes, and I think we both agree that this is great.
This may be the best film out of these three. They're all, like I said, I like them all, but this film is a cut above the rest, and that is Exiled by Johnny To, from 2006. 109 minutes, Hong Kong film. Man, what a film.
Yeah.
How would you describe the plot of this movie other than, I don't want to give anything away in terms of details, because I really want people to go into this movie kind of like knowing the least amount possible. So I'll go with just the IMDb synopsis.
Yeah, a friendship is formed between an ex-gangster and two groups of hitmen, those who want to protect him and those who want to sent to be killed.
Yeah, they were sent to kill him.
Yeah.
And that is just like the tip of the iceberg of this movie, because it's so much more involved than that, and the way the movie is told, the style in which it's told is so good. It's
very
so
much it almost feels like a Seven Samurai, but more of a Western.
Yeah, it's like a slow, methodical Western. And what's interesting is it's a film that really takes its time in unveiling its plot and stuff like that. And it's not a straight action film or anything like that, but when the action hits, it's really good. And the acting is really good. The plot's really good. It's like I said, it's like a neo-noir Western gangster film. Because there's this guy who used to be, involved in organized crime, and then now he's not. But of course, once you're in, they really don't let you out. Yeah. So they want to kind of tie up the loose ends by killing this guy, and then his friends want to protect him, and then the people who are sent to protect him also end up wanting to protect him as well. So
you mean sent to kill him?
Sent to kill him, yeah. People who are sent to kill him want to end up wanting to protect him as well. So you've got conflict of interest, you've got fighting back against authority, and man, it's also like it's a grim film. It's not a positive film in terms of like, yeah, by the end of this you're gonna feel good about like what
It
happens.
kind of makes
You
me.
know?
There's moments in the movie that made me think about The Departed, or
Mm.
where there's like, I mean, especially when the one character gets killed, like
I
gets
don't
in
know.
the
Yeah,
middle of the
don't give
movie.
away anything. Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want to say that any character. I'm not saying any names, but there's a
Oh,
character
I'll
that
say
gets.
this. There is death in this film. Like
Yeah,
it's not. It's like I said. It's not positive. You
yeah.
know.
But
Uh,
there's a particular character that gets killed, and it kind of like throws everything up in the air, and like how it happens is pretty rough, and like, um,
it's
just
yeah, gruesome. Like when it says moderate violence,
it's bullshit.
yeah, it's
There's
a little
there's
more
blood
than
splat.
moderate.
There's blood splatter
I mean,
splatter
there's not like,
everywhere.
yeah, I wouldn't say there's like guts hanging out or
No,
decapitations, but there is blood, there's bullets, there's death. There are
and
things
and
happening.
and they talk about this in the visual essay about Johnny Two's style of gun shootout, and it's something I always thought was pretty cool with what I'm seeing is that he almost uses like objects as like part of the scene. Like like you can use guns and they'll shoot doors, like, and the doors will fly across the room, and like, like they're able to use guns to move things, not just shoot people, like, and then like you'll see a lot of like curtains and loose cloths like floating in the air, and they use that as part of the kind of like the dance of the scene. It's almost very dance like, some of these gun shootouts. Um, you know, they're so, like you said, methodical. They're so
They're
well
so
prepared.
well designed,
Yeah. They're not
really well
too,
designed,
like you said,
great
they're not quick
cinematography.
cutty. They're just
Yeah,
perfectly
and
timed.
this film has a really dour color palette.
Yeah.
Um, Muted colors to really give you this sense of just this underbelly world in which you're living in. It feels almost not dystopian. I don't think dystopian is the right word, but it feels like it is of another world in terms of the setting. Like it doesn't feel like a modern setting.
Yeah.
It feels like something out of time. And it's really fantastic. And for special features, there's, like I said, a limited edition booklet featuring new essays by film historian Stephen Teo and Dylan Chung, two new audio commentaries by Hong Kong cinema expert Frank Chang, and then The Weight of Honor, a new video essay on Exiled, which is what Stephen was just referencing. A new interview with co-composer Dave Klotz, a new
Which is,
translated.
yeah.
Yeah, the score is actually very good.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the other thing about the film I really loved was the score, and the guy, you said Dave Klotz,
Yes.
is really good. He goes through his career and talks about some of the other, how he got into Hong Kong cinema, because I think he did a few other films for some Hong Kong directors. I think he did some, I believe, a Ringo Lam film, maybe in there somewhere. But yeah, I mean, he's worked with a lot of the, some Asian filmmakers, and yeah, I mean, he goes into this not using a lot of, I think he says in this film he uses a guitar, and that's about it. I mean, like, guitar's the only instrument. There's a lot of sampling going on in this movie. It's a very simple score, but it's effective. Like, I really like it.
Yeah, this was actually his first feature film that he worked on the score for.
Okay.
If IMDb is to
be
correct in that, be trusted. He did do a TV movie. He did a TV documentary series, one episode, then another TV movie documentary, and then he did Exile to start his kind of feature career. Yeah, really great score. And then last thing here is the Cult of Joe as Exile Dreams, the cult career of Josie Ho, and then the making of Exile, and then behind the scenes photo gallery, Hong Kong trailers times two. So I guess two Hong Kong trailers and then the US trailer. And then opening it up here is probably going to be the usual display here of the booklet as well as the disc. The disc, which of course I have upside down. I don't know if that ever bothers you, Stephen, but
It doesn't.
Okay. Didn't know if you were obsessive compulsive about it. And
No,
then
I don't.
the usual, and then the booklet out here with artwork on the front, artwork on the back, and then the pages on the inside here. I don't know how many pages the booklet is. These booklets are. They all seem to be the same length, which I guess makes it all nice and uniform. But yeah, plenty of essay and reading material on the inside. And then of course just one shot of the inner artwork, which is the same as the outer artwork, just sans rating. And that's about it. We love the presentation. Everything looks clean, shiny, and new. That new Blu-ray smell, as they say.
Yes.
But also, when it comes to the audio and visual presentations, I didn't have any issue with any of them. Thought they all
No.
looked really, really good. They all sounded really, really good. Um, when it comes to the audio, of course, they are in their original languages of either Chinese or Japanese in the sense of Summertime Machine Blues. And I think I just want to make a distinction. Yeah, so both Johnny To's films are in Cantonese and not Mandarin. They both come in 5.1 DTS master audios, and they both are LPCM 2.0, which is their original, probably like their original audio framing. And of course, English subtitles, unless of course you're fluent in Cantonese, or Japanese. Some people are. I wish I was, Steve. I think I told this before. I wish I kind of knew like every major language like fluently. Like that would be like a superpower I had.
Yeah,
I don't know why I'm bringing that up.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know either. But no, but yeah, that's Chameleon Films. That's their first slate of films. I can't wait to see what they got.
Movies.
Yeah, so I can't wait to see what they're bringing out for us next. Hopefully, we hear something soon.
Yeah, and you can find these pretty much.
I think at most
places. I think I know Orbit DVD had them.
Yeah,
Diabolic has them. I don't know where.
And of course, Chameleon Films.
I think Grindhouse may have them.
Yeah, and Chameleon Films.
And you can get it from Chameleon Films directly.
Yeah, Chameleon. Let's see, Chameleon Film. Yeah. It says shop.chameleonfilms.com.au. So, but I'm sure you can just put Chameleon Films into Google and you'll find it.
It'll pop up. Yeah, I like their logo logo.
Yes, I like the logo too. I do. It's a nice, cool logo there. But yeah, I mean,
yeah, that's Chameleon Films. I dig it. I like new labels cropping up since we've started.
Yeah.
We kind of, when we jumped into this, we kind of jumped into the middle of like the runs of a lot of these these studios that we talk about. So it's really cool to kind of start one off right from the beginning.